Have you ever stopped to think about how humanity came so close to the brink of extinction without most people even knowing about it? It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, but in reality, throughout history, we've been on the verge of vanishing several times. Today, we're talking about the top 10 historical events that almost ended the world. Some of these moments are so shocking you'll wonder how we're still here. So, get ready, because what you're about to hear is a deep dive into the razor's edge of our survival. When we think about events that almost ended the world, the first images that come to mind are nuclear bombs, devastating wars, and pandemics. But believe me, there's much more lurking behind the curtains of history. And the most surprising part? Not all of these events are as far back as you might think. Let's start at the beginning and explore how decisions, accidents, and circumstances almost wiped out civilization as we know it. Imagine the world at the height of the Cold War, a time when every wrong move could trigger a nuclear war between the United States and the Soviet Union. The Cuban Missile Crisis is the event that, for 13 days, had the entire planet holding its breath. In October 1962, the U.S. discovered that the Soviet Union was installing nuclear missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles off the American coast. Tensions were at an all-time high. A miscalculation, a misunderstood communication, and today we might not even be here. In the final moments, both world leaders stepped back, but the world had never been so close to the edge. Now let's go back to 1908 in Siberia, where a massive explosion wiped out over 2,000 square kilometers of forest. This force of impact, if it had happened over a city, would have annihilated millions of people. This phenomenon, known as the Tunguska event, was caused by an asteroid or comet that exploded before hitting the ground. If the impact location had been just a little different, the course of world history would have been drastically altered. How about the story of one man who, with a single decision, might have saved humanity? In 1983, Stanislav Petrov, a Soviet officer, received an alert that the United States had launched nuclear missiles at the Soviet Union. Alarms blared, and the pressure was immense. Anyone else could have immediately ordered a counterattack, but Petrov trusted his gut, thinking it might be a false alarm. He was right. What looked like a nuclear strike was just a system error, and thanks to him, we avoided the end of the world. You might not think of this as an event that almost destroyed the world, but the 2008 financial crash brought the planet to the edge of an unprecedented global crisis. The collapse of major banks and the credit freeze triggered a domino effect that could have devastated entire economies, pushing millions into extreme poverty and potentially sparking civil wars. Governments had to act fast, making massive decisions to prevent chaos. The scale of the crisis was so immense that its recovery is still felt today. Another example of how human error almost destroyed civilization is the Chernobyl disaster in 1986. The nuclear accident in Ukraine released massive amounts of radiation into the atmosphere, contaminating entire regions. If the reactor core had exploded differently, Europe could have been uninhabitable for decades or even centuries. And that's just a fraction of what could have happened, and we're just getting started. Soon, we'll explore more shocking events, including pandemics, out-of-control scientific experiments, and even wars that almost exploded on a global scale. If you're enjoying this deep dive into events that nearly ended the world, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos. Shall we continue? Let's go way back. Long before humans existed. The asteroid that hit what is now Mexico and wiped out the dinosaurs also almost wiped out life on the planet. The Chicxulub crater, over 180 kilometers in diameter, is the result of an impact so devastating that it led to a mass extinction of 75% of Earth's species. If the impact angle had been slightly different, we might not be here today. Imagine a virus that spread so fast and with such lethality that in a matter of months, it reaches nearly every corner of the planet. The Spanish flu of 1918 killed between 50 and 100 million people worldwide. The scale of the pandemic was so devastating that in many places, bodies piled up in the streets. If the virus had been even deadlier, it could have literally wiped out the world's population. And the worst part? A pandemic like this could happen again. Ever heard of a technical glitch that almost triggered World War III? In 1979, the U.S. defense system, NORAD, received an alert of an imminent nuclear attack from the Soviet Union. For 6 minutes, the world stood on the brink of nuclear confrontation. Thankfully, before any buttons were pressed, officials realized the alert was false. Once again, humanity narrowly avoided destroying itself. And what if I told you that a scientific experiment almost spiraled out of control and made us rethink the viability of living on other planets? Biosphere 2 was an attempt to create a closed, self-sustaining ecosystem. But the project faced numerous problems, from oxygen shortages to the collapse of internal systems. The failure of this experiment showed just how fragile life on Earth is, and how any attempt to manipulate that balance can go terribly wrong. Finally, we have the infamous Millennium Bug, or Y2K. In 1999, many people believed the world could collapse when computers failed to handle the switch to the year 2000. Although much was done to fix the problem, the panic was real. If systems had failed, there could have been massive disorganization of governments, businesses, and even defense systems, leading to unprecedented global chaos. So, what do you think of these events that almost put an end to humanity? The truth is, our existence is much more fragile than we think, and these moments are a reminder that the unexpected can happen at any time. Leave a comment below about which of these events surprised you the most, and if you want to know more about the moments in history when we stood on the edge of extinction, don't forget to subscribe and share this video. See you in the next one.